Spoiler Sleepover is sponsored by Gore Clown Shop.
Do you love all things horror? Books? Movies? Podcasts? Of course you do. Well, come on down to goreclown.com.
Original artwork by an indie horror fan for indie horror fans.
Use code SLEEPOVER at checkout to save 15% on your whole purchase.
Oh, and did we mention? Gore Clown is the only place to get official Spoiler Sleepover merch.
So don't forget to use Sleepover to save 15%.
Stay indie, suckers!
I wish to create a perfect human being, selecting the best organs from different scorpions.
Ladies and germs and our non-binary friends, welcome back to Spoiler Sleepover. And we will be talking about a classic movie that not only started a massive monster franchise, but there's a new canon as of recent that is one of my favorite franchises of all time. That's right, we're talking about John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978. Without any further ado, I'm Jason Michael.
I'm Rob.
And joining us is a very good friend of mine, and she has her own podcast, which we'll talk about here in a bit. Dominique, Guten Tag, how are you?
I'm pretty good. You know, just already celebrating Halloween in my own house, so I'm excited.
Hell yeah. Dom, could you give us a little spin on why Halloween is one of your favorite horror movies, and if not possibly the favorite?
Well, for one, it just set the precedence for most of the horror movies that came out after it, with its silent killer coming after you at all times. And it actually connects with me more because my mom was actually in high school when it came out. So it's even better to hear her side of the story when it came out. She's like, she ran out of that one and The Exorcist when they both came out in the theaters.
Awesome. Well, before we start off with our breakdown on the classic, we of course have a few things to talk about, like what's been keeping us up at night. Dom, what's been keeping you up at night?
Besides work, not much. I did just get the horror collection that has like all the classic Dracula and Frankenstein and selected works of Edgar Allan Poe. So I'm going to start reading those here soon, especially with spooky season starting and all.
Nice. Rob.
I mean, we're at the end of the month at this point, and I have been working through the 31 movies to watch during October that Jason, Michael, and I put together for all of you. So that's what I've been doing. I've been doing that and keeping up with my newfound nerdum and building Gundams, because that's a thing I do now. Found a new hobby, and I can't stop. It's ridiculous. Have I really paid any attention to the animes? Not really. I've been watching some of the shows, the more dramatic ones. I've been watching S-Seed and S-Destiny. They are more like Sailor Moon with Gundams and giant mechs in them, and I'm a huge Sailor Moon fan. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what's been keeping me up at night. Horror and anime shit.
Nice.
What about you, Jason Michael?
Well, I'll tell you. Besides the normal stuff with streams and doing some spooky games and things like that, like we played Dead by Daylight, and it was just utter chaos, as it usually is. I've been just going through my rewatch of Stranger Things, really. It's only my second time watching it, but it's spooky, it's old feeling, well, 80s. So it's nice. It's nice. I thoroughly enjoy it. I'm definitely excited to finish up the 4th season and pray that there's any news of the 5th and final season. Hopefully by this point there will be. But yeah, that is what has been keeping us up at night. Definitely let us know in the comments or reach out to us on Instagram and or Facebook to definitely let us know what's been keeping you up at night over this spooky month. Up next, there is a squiggly little earworm sneaking out right there. Rob, you want to start us off?
For me, my earworm has been, I've been listening to a ton of Paleface Swiss, the Swiss band. Look them up, it's Paleface Swiss, but the fucking name of the band is Paleface. We don't need to know you're from Switzerland. We are ramping up, my fiance and I are ramping up to go see them in like 4 months. But yeah, we're amped to see them finally.
Never too early to start.
So, yeah. It's. I mean, I listen to them a lot anyway, but I've really just been on that kick heavily lately. So yeah, Paleface. Go check out Paleface.
No. There we go.
Well, let's pass it along.
Dominique, your earworm.
There's 2 different ones I've been listening to. It's I Prevail, one of my favorite bands. Just saw them in concert last month in the Pit, of course. And then Howl's Moving Castle.
House Moving Castle?
Howl's Moving Castle. It's the
Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Studio Ghibli.
Oh, okay. What are they? What is it a podcast or a band or?
No, just the soundtrack.
It's a movie there, dude.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Miyazaki, one of the greatest writers and animators that has ever lived. Yeah.
Howl's
Moving Castle I saw in theaters. Fucking what? Where do you live under a rock? You have Max, right? There's a whole Ghibli fucking chapter on there.
Ooh, Spirited Away.
Get on
that one. That's like the spooky
Spirited
one.
Away is so good.
Yes, watch it.
Oh, that's so good.
I watched that one mistakenly on Cartoon Network at midnight one night when I was like 10.
Nice.
It freaked me out.
Yeah. And if you love the animation, watch Princess Mononoke. That one is brutal.
That's a good one.
So damn good.
I saw that one in theaters. I'd never seen it before. Best way to watch it.
Yeah, I am severely outnumbered here.
Write it down.
Okay.
See, now
Howl's
so bad
Magic
saying
Castle,
I've been watching
Castle?
anime. Howl's Moving Castle, homie.
Okay.
It's dubbed. And it's dubbed by Christian Bale.
Oh yeah, Christian
It's
Bale.
fantastic.
Oh, okay. Anyway, mine has kind of continued through the summer. At the end of summer, I went to go see Childish Gambino at TD Garden, and honestly, I've just been really re-listening to that playlist of that show the entire time. It's clung on to a little bit of summer, so that's been our earworms. Definitely let us know what squiggly things are creeping through your ears. And before we started recording, it's a little bit of creeper. Thank you. I forgot that there was an air horn for it. We here at Spoiler Sleepover, we're very big fans of the Universal Monsters. We've talked about now 7 out of the 8 main ones. And of course, my very favorite one, the Wolfman, is finally up to the chopping block of getting another remake. Why it needed to go past the 2010, I don't know, but this is from Blumhouse. They've released teaser images for the Wolfman. As of the time of this recording, teaser images of the Wolfman, and it doesn't look like a Wolfman. And there's also a teaser trailer, which doesn't really give much. Yeah.
Look, bugs! Did you see the bugs? Hey, check out these bugs. You like bugs?
Yeah. Praying Mantis really gets that hornet real quick. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's totally what a wolf movie is about. A lot of us have been saying that it just looks like a reject from Wrong Turn, but also it just looks like if someone had a mutant spawn with a rat. It doesn't look good.
Oh.
Rob has the face of uh-oh.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Join me on this ride. Welcome, by the way, Dominique. Welcome to Rob's Brain. So,
yeah,
we've all seen what this bullshit fucking hillbilly hairy wolf person reject from fucking Wrong Turn is, right? Okay, hear me out. It's Blumhouse. Blumhouse likes to take things and either do justice, hello, Halloween 18 and Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. A lot of the time, they like to take things, bend it over, and sodomize it with no lube. And I have a feeling
hello, Exorcist believer.
This is one of those situations. Hear me out. That teaser trailer, all woods. This is not a wolf movie. This is a mental illness movie. This is somebody who has locked themselves away from society and has lived in the woods and has completely fucking lost every grasp to reality and has become the animal that it looks up to the most. This person is a person who thinks is a wolf. This is not we're transforming into a wolf because it's a fucking full moon. This is a crazy person who lives in the woods who's just lost their fucking mind. I'm done. I pieced it together. I figured it out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Fucking Blumhouse. Jesus Christ, Blumhouse.
But why name it the Wolfman then? Like, name it something else.
Because he,
like, don't.
I mean,
take
to
what
be fair,
right.
the Invisible Man wasn't really invisible. It was just a technologically advanced suit with cameras.
Yeah, it was
That's true.
Refraction.
That
man.
one freaked me out, to be honest.
It's a good one.
Oh yeah, that one's upsetting. Highly upsetting. When they said they were going to be rebooting this Universal monster universe, that they were going to try and like set it closer to reality, and using science for the Invisible Man and then mental illness for the Wolfman would make a lot more sense.
True.
The thing is, do we really want to see something about mental illness? Or do
No.
we want to see a hairy guy running around and trying to slash people?
I mean, we're getting both. No matter what, it's a hairy man with mental illness running around trying to kill people and probably eating deers and bugs and shit. He's going to Hakuna Matata his way through some fucking grubs under a log during. So
we saw the praying mantis get the bee, and now he's going to be right behind to get the praying mantis. It's just cut out. It's okay.
Probably. Yeah.
I think I'm going to go see it.
Oh, I'm going to wait till it comes to my TV. I'm not going to spend that much money on something like that.
Very fair. Very fair. I mean, I still haven't seen Tom Cruise's The Mummy, and I think I'm okay with that. Everyone has said don't, yeah.
Me neither. It's fucking
See?
Tom Cruise.
I like the
Does he
original,
run in the movie?
Like early 2000s, 1999 one.
Oh God. Yeah, so that's been what's been creeping it real. Yeah, it's not a great one. It's been creeping it real shitty. But moving on to something fantastic, because we're all done with that. It is about time to start talking about a classic. Robert, Dominique, are you ready to finally talk about Halloween from 1978? We got a thumbs up and we got a no. Well, thank you for listening to the podcast. That is the end of the show right there. And I guess the whole thing as a entirety. So thanks, Dominique. Great. Anyway, we are starting to talk about Halloween from 1978. It starts off with the infamous theme song that we all know and love, which was played on just a little single piano with, I believe, one finger. It's the classic Halloween theme song. We're getting the credits of Mustafa Akkad, top 6 themes. Dom, I'm pretty sure on your old podcast you did an episode on top horror theme songs. Where did Halloween's rank?
Probably number 1, because
I was going to say
that it's like it just starts out like that, and you're just like, what is going to go? No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was your top. I think it was the first one, but we see John Carpenter's Halloween with the infamous little jack-o'-lantern. So we get a point of view as well as a theme song about Halloween night. But this is Jamie Lee Curtis's first feature movie on the big screen, which thank you, horror, for giving jump starts to a lot of actors like Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street. I almost said Before Christmas. Even though she hates to admit it, Jennifer Aniston in Leprechaun. She does not like to admit it. So
Kevin Bacon.
Yep. Kevin Bacon, Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
That was a young Bacon right there. That was still on the pig at that rate. We open with a POV looking at a house, and there is a man and a woman making out in the window as this creeping view peeps in, and then walks around to the side. He jokes around with a mask, and he's like, hey, you want to go upstairs? And she's like, yeah. They skedaddle upstairs. You see the lights turn off.
Let me just say that if you ever have coitus in a horror movie, just know you're going to die immediately.
Except for 2-second Johnny over here, because the POV goes in, grabs a knife, goes to the bottom of the stairs, and the guy's like, all right, cool, see you later. And it's been one continuous shot, and it's been maybe 30 seconds.
Mars?
Poor guy. You shut your face over there, Jared Leto. Not having it.
Worst Joker ever.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it, and I'm okay with that. So the dude leaves, cannot apparently see the person at the bottom of the stairs, just in the living room. It's not that dark in the house. And the person goes upstairs, and we still have no idea who it is, but they find a clown mask on the ground, put it on, and we get kind of like a peephole mask, eye hole POV. And they walk into the girl currently topless and brushing her hair, as you do in 1978. She turns around and says, Michael? So she knows who it is. Granted, yes, at this point, anybody listening to this has hopefully seen John Carpenter's Halloween, and if you haven't, what the fuck? Basically looking at this through a original lens of what people probably experienced in theaters. So she knows who it is, and the person just goes to town stabbing the girl to death repeatedly, with some added details later in the Halloween 2018 of scraping her spinal cord and 3 more stabs to the chest. And it's like, oh, okay. Man, we went brutal as shit with this. The masked person walks down the stairs and out to the front yard where 2 adults pull up and they say, Michael? Pull off the mask and it is a 6-year-old boy.
In a clown costume.
So already from the get-go, a massive what the fuck. I don't think anybody back then was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a 6-year-old boy. No, they were expecting some deranged grown-up dude, probably wielding a chainsaw and a face made of someone else's face. But the person of Michael, oh my god. But it's like, it's not really, oh my god, this child is holding a bloody knife and standing. It's more of the hands on the hips, like, oh, Michael, what are we gonna do with you?
Right?
You did it again. Michael! Laugh track. It's gonna... Man, Michael sure really found himself in a pickle. How's he going to get into this one? Tune in next week. Jesus Christ. We fast forward in time.
It's just very concerning, that's all, that the child with a knife in his hand still, and their parents are like, all right, whatever.
Are you going to say anything? No, just going to go mute for the next 15 years? Sick. We love that. So we fast forward to October 30th. It has been 15 years, so it is now in the story 1978. The drive up to Smith's Grove, and it's just dark, it's rainy, it's stormy, and Donald Pleasance, our Dr. Loomis, is basically talking with a nurse, Marion, and basically given the shortest one-word answers, and she's like, you don't want him getting out? No. Never? Never. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Great talk, pal. Great talk. He's just looking around. He sees the Rabbit in Red matchbook, which will come into play later. Basically saying, give him Thorazine when he gets up to the judge. We don't want him getting out, so the judge is basically going to put him away forever because Thorazine's going to make him fall on his ass pretty much. And then we get the infamous theme song again as we pull up to Smith's Grove, and the inmates are walking around all over the grounds. So something has happened. I don't think they ever fully said what happened with this. Like, the bus was explained, but this was not explained. Dr. Loomis gets out of the car, runs up, try and talk to somebody or put in a code, and we see someone crawl up the back of the hood, and Marion decides, maybe I should roll down the window and see what just crawled on top of my car at a mental institution. Why? Just why? Keep everything locked, dude. We don't need that. I don't know if anybody noticed, but after she rolls down the window and kind of gets strangled, she backs up towards another window. Did you see in the hand that there's a wrench?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, there's a wrench in the hand to help break the window, but it's like, where the hell did he get a wrench? Where did Michael get a wrench? I know you probably weren't supposed to see it, but if you slow it down. Have you not seen the wrench, Rob, or have you?
No, I've not ever seen the wrench. I always just thought it looked weird the way he broke the window. Like he was like bear clawing
that
the
too.
window.
It does kind of look like a stop motion, like, and then it's there. Like somebody said, all right, stop recording. Cool. Now put the broken window in. And now we record. All right. Marion gets out of the car, and then whoever was on top gets in, takes off, and Loomis goes, you okay? Cool. The evil's gone. It's gone from here. Basically, we're going to hear a lot of Donald Pleasance freaking out throughout this entire movie.
Well, yeah.
Wait until Halloween 2 when he keeps telling you how many times he shot him. So after the evil has gone from here, we cut to Haddonfield, Illinois on Halloween the day, because it's not Halloween night yet. Dom, how did this feel, seeing Illinois up there?
It just looked like it's suburban from the 70s, and it looks very quaint and peaceful compared to what we just saw.
Yeah.
This town's gonna be messed up here soon.
I'm pretty sure it was filmed in California too. Which at the same point, it's like now I think of Illinois looking just like that, and I know it won't look like that, so I get sad.
Only some parts of it, actually. Remember, I lived near Chicago for a bit, so some of the neighborhoods actually do look like this. Unfortunately, there's no actual place named Haddonfield, which very much disappointed me.
Fuck! I will say this movie has set the precedent on how all Halloween, October, autumn movies should feel to me. Like you can feel the crisp in the air. You can feel the brisk, like slight breeze that's happening. You can smell the leaves rolling across the pavement, which makes no sense, but don't worry, you can smell it anyway. It's 4D before 4D was the thing. We meet Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis, and she's told to drop off the key for the Myers place. So her father is a realtor for Strode Realty. Laurie starts walking down, and she gets a kid running up to her calling Laurie. Laurie, that is Tommy Doyle, which is the kid that she babysits, and we'll get to know Tommy Doyle over our breakdown of the rest of this franchise very, very soon. Jesus, with the 20
Evil
questions.
dies tonight. Evil dies tonight.
Will you read me? Can we popcorn? Yeah. Can we do this? Can we do that?
Yes, we can. Jesus Christ.
Speaking of somebody who has a toddler, that's real life. It's real life.
I got to go over to the Myers place. Why? Drop off the key. Why?
No joke.
Because my dad said so. Why? Because it's his fucking job, Tommy. God damn it. Why? It just reminds me of Dude, Where's My Car? And then she drops off the key, and then we see a silhouette pop up behind the door. And Rob, this is we were talking about it briefly beforehand of this movie. I sometimes mix up with Rob Zombie's Halloween, the first one. Like there's sometimes where I will think of something from this movie, and there's something he did really well in his first Halloween where it's like it was meant to be a love letter to John Carpenter's Halloween. So he was going to recreate some shots. I'm just so glad there's not a massive, 6'7" dump truck of a Michael Myers in this movie ready to just fuck you up at any point in time. That's one of the things that still scares me about Rob Zombie's Halloween. Tyler Mane is awesome. The dump truck Michael Myers that people didn't like.
Yeah.
My thing is with the difference. So I love both movies equally. A lot, actually. I love Rob Zombie. I've gone over this in the podcast before, but like Rob Zombie's a fucking visionary and a goddamn genius when it comes down to his writing, his directing style, the way he makes everything art, not just, hey, look at this movie. He's like, watch this fucking art piece I created. The one thing I think Rob Zombie got right, I know it wasn't John Carpenter's vision, especially seeing as there wasn't supposed to be a fucking another Michael Myers movie ever, but I think the one thing that Rob Zombie got right was the ending. Really having her just go ham at the end and just unload into Michael's face was fucking dope. I love the ending that Rob Zombie gave us because I also feel like even though we got a pretty decent ending for Ends, Rob Zombie's ending is the ending we deserve. And he gave it to us. And it's just fucking gorgeous. That was my little tidbit about
and we still got H2.
Between the two. We don't talk about H2. We just don't.
I didn't think it was that.
Not
we'll get to that.
H2O? Is that the one you're referring to?
No, not H2O. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Oh,
it was.
Okay.
I believe it just went by
too.
H2 for a while.
Yeah, it did. I thought you were talking about H2O. I was like, we don't talk about H2O. It doesn't exist. It's not real.
Are you telling me you didn't want LL Cool J writing love songs or smut poetry to his wife?
Nobody wanted LL Cool J. Then, oh my gosh, no.
Had to keep him relevant.
This is that's season 3 material there.
And then as Tommy heads off to school, Laurie starts walking away, and I love this little bit of imagery as she's walking away singing, I wish I had you all alone, just the two of us.
So perfect.
As Michael steps into frame.
It's yes, you called.
Oh, I'll have you all alone, damn it. I'll have you all to myself. It's really perfectly timed as to when he steps into frame, too. I think this is one of the moments where it's like, okay, I think I'll see you later. I'm not in killing mode yet, but you might be special. Which later in this franchise breakdown, it kind of seems like maybe he was just indiscriminately killing. We'll see. We'll touch upon that whole thing later. Laurie's in class and listening to the discussion on fate and how fate basically never changes. Fate is always going to be there. And she looks out the window and sees Michael standing across the street, or the shape, more accurately as to what he's referred to at this point. He's just staring across the street with his Smith's Grove station wagon. And it's unsettling. He's just standing there, and she's staring back like, who is this man? I don't know this man, but I'm going to stare at him anyway. Then she gets called on, and he disappears. He just vanishes. Does the ever classic Batman move and just takes off.
I hate it when he does that.
Yeah. So this is what it feels like.
Too soon. Too soon.
Right before this, Loomis is back at Smith's Grove, and he's talking with the head guy there. I don't know exactly what would you call him, but he's basically going, if he was a problem, you should have told us this a while ago. He goes, I tried to tell everybody. Nobody would listen. He goes, well, he's been locked up for 15 years. Haddonfield's 100 miles away. He couldn't have gotten in a car and drove. Well, he was doing very fine last night. Maybe someone here gave him lessons. Loomis is pissed and doesn't give a fuck at this point, and it's awesome. Like, you fuckers. Let him get away. I told you not to, and this is what happens.
How dare you not listen?
You son of a bitch. We then get Tommy Doyle leaving school. He's getting picked on by a bunch of bullies, and Lonnie Elam. I'm pretty sure one of the kids spikes the camera at this moment, too. My time to shine. And he just looks right at the camera. It's like, no, kid. No. Look at Tommy. Look at the pumpkin. Be a bully. The kids take off. One then shows up to a jumpsuited man, which the trill of the music kicks back in. And Tommy Doyle becomes blind in his left eye because he starts walking down the road, and Michael is driving right next to him. And Tommy cannot choose to just go, is that a car?
He's
Can't
sad.
Yeah, it's like...
His pumpkin got smashed.
True, but hey, man, you're still walking right next to a street, so maybe have a little bit of depth perception here and try to make sure you're safe.
It's the 70s.
It's also a movie. Still love the movie, damn it. We cut to Haddonfield High School, where you hear the cheerleaders in the back. We're from Haddonfield, couldn't be prouder. Can't hear us now, we'll yell a bit louder. And they get louder, and they go, yay, Haddonfield, great. Lori and Linda, one of her friends, is leaving, and this is PJ Soul's character that has a very favorite word. That word is totally.
Yeah. Totally.
I want to go back. I've never thought to do it, but I do want to go back and just count how many times Linda says totally in this movie. Maybe 4 or 5 times within her first bit of talking, and it's insane. Then Annie, we meet Annie, and she catches up. They start talking about her boyfriend, Paul, in the bathroom, and they're like, oh, of course he brought you into the bathroom. But basically saying he got caught, so his parents are grounded him, so the plan's off, and we have no idea what the plan was, except for most likely to do some things you shouldn't do in a scary movie, thanks to the rules of Scream. So a car pulls in because Lori forgot one of her books, and the station wagon pulls by, and they're like, oh, is it that guy? I don't remember what his name was. But they're just looking at him, and you could see the face looking at them as it drives by, and Annie goes, hey, jerk, speed kills, which how he heard her, I'll never know. Again, it's a movie, Jason, shut up. But slams on the brakes, and it's like, oh, I guess he can't take a joke. That's one thing I hate, is a guy with a car, and he can't take a joke. And he takes off, and then they're planning the rest of their night, basically with sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Linda leaves, and Annie and Lori continue to walk. Annie's looking for a book or something in her bag, and we see one of the many, many iconic shots of this movie is Michael just standing slightly behind a hedge.
Yes.
Who knew a man in foliage would be so iconic and terrifying? I have several notes in this breakdown of just this thing, iconic, this thing, iconic, this thing, iconic, because there's just so much.
Is it? Are you sure it's iconic?
No, I don't know. Go ahead. What would it be then? Damn it. They continue to walk. Annie goes home. Lori keeps turning around looking at the hedge, and we meet Sheriff Lee Brackett, played by the late Charles Cyphers as of a month and 2 days ago at the time of this recording. He returned for Halloween Kills and then unfortunately passed away. So thank you, Charles Cyphers, for being Sheriff Lee Brackett. He's a wonderful little jolly old character of basically not believing Loomis when he gets to town, and clearly his wonderful little sleepy town of Haddonfield is not about to be that, and then gets horrible reception. This is, again, one of those iconic things of he kind of scares Lori. She turns around, I'm so sorry. And he goes, it's Halloween. Everyone's entitled to one good scare. What just a beautiful line to sum up the Halloween holiday. It's great.
Indeed.
We get to Lori's room in the smallest bed I have ever seen. But yet again, another iconic imagery of just looking out the window and Michael standing with the laundry. Have either one of you, I feel like I've sent it to you at one point or another, seen the Michael and Jason video of this, where it's just, they cut and they see Michael standing out there. Then they cut back and Michael's gone. Then they cut back and it's Jason standing out there. Cuts back. Michael's like, get the fuck out of here. It's a funny little bit, which we'll definitely have to find a way to post on the Instagram so everyone can know what the hell we're talking about here. But she slams the window, gets a call. It's Annie. At first she was chewing, so hung up and thought it was an obscene phone call. Annie is saying, I'll pick you up at 6:30. I'm about to get there with my mom's car. Loomis and the caretaker of the cemetery in Haddonfield, they start going out to go see Judith Myers' grave, which is row 18, plot 20, talking about a horrific story of someone else who's there, who some dude basically lost it, finished dinner with his family, went into the garage, got a hacksaw, came back, kissed his wife and kid goodbye, and then was like, cool. Interrupted just in time for, these kids, why do they do it? They just steal headstones. They get to row 18, plot 20, and Loomis is like, who is it? And he goes, Judith Myers, followed by, he came home. So Loomis is certain and now absolutely proven without a doubt that Michael has come home to Haddonfield. Annie picks up Lori with Don't Fear the Reaper playing on the radio,
yes.
which foreshadowing to later in this franchise. That's how it all ends, folks. Don't Fear the Reaper and Don't Fear the Reefer, if you will. They start driving around, taking a couple hits, blah, 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 blah. Then we see through the back windshield, we see the station wagon pull out behind him. He's really not doing a great job of following from a distance. Like, he is tailgating. I would be flipping this person off if they were right behind me. Yeah, he's way too fucking close for comfort. Look back and it's like, is he wearing a mask? Is that William Shatner? That's weird.
Remember, they're high at this point, so they're not at their
True. Very true. They keep driving, talking about, what the plans were for the evening, maybe more plans, and then Annie is interrupted by my dad, which they pull up to the hardware store. Sheriff Brackett is drowned out a little bit by an alarm, has to start shouting, but he's basically saying, just a harmless prank. Kids only took some Halloween mask, a couple of knives and some rope. And then we now know, like, rope does come into play, but I feel like it's a little bit more hidden later. The Halloween mask, which, as we know, is the William Shatner Captain Kirk mask, just painted white with the sideburns and eyebrows ripped off. Who knew that William Shatner would be the face of horror? I don't think he did.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure they actually tried to use a
Twilight Zone
Spock mask as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, sorry. I meant more specifically him and not, there's a man on the wing of the plane. It's more of his face versus the creepy, hairy gremlin that...
It's a goblin. Yeah.
There's something on the wing. So the girls take off, and it's one of my favorite things, just a little detail of... It's Nick Castle. It's not the Shape. It's not Michael Myers. It's Nick Castle going, all right, look back. Anybody coming that way? No. Traffic's good on that side. And you could see Michael just looking around like, all right, traffic's good. Now I can actually go. Because I feel like the Shape would just be like, and drive, and nearly cause an accident.
But remember, he doesn't want to have any of that corruption.
It really turned to night in this drive really friggin' quick. It goes from like sunny, middle of the day look to kind of dusk, and then just pitch black. The night has come. Lori has been dropped off at the Doyle's house, and Annie pulls over to the Wallace house, and Michael stands outside and just watches. This is where Sheriff Brackett and Dr. Loomis head over to the Myers house, and they go in, just to see how things are, investigate. Has he been here? Which they find out very quickly, yes, he has, because Michael's fresh kill of a dog And Loomis says he got hungry.
Poor dog.
We then head upstairs to a gutter drops down, smashes the window, and Loomis takes out his gun. He's like, oh, I have a license for this. Don't worry about it. Brackett was very worried about now what has come to his town, and he asks him about it, and he goes, I met him 15 years ago. I met the 6-year-old boy with the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. To describe a 6-year-old child like that is fucked. Yeah, Loomis basically tells Brackett to have his men keep their mouths shut and their eyes open. Otherwise, they'll basically be starting a panic. They'll see him on every street corner. They'll see him in the shadows. Just have them be vigilant, but don't say a thing. Lori with Tommy. There's a phone call, and it's from Annie across the street. She's talking to Lori about how the night's going, that perhaps she'll have a nice date to the dance, or the Halloween dance, of Ben Tramer. She's not big on the fact that this was asked, but Ben is out drinking with his friends, so he can't really be talked to tonight. In the old canon, we see Ben Tramer in Halloween 2. You want to know who he is?
No, but yes.
You remember that Michael Myers walking across the street in like the pale gray blonde mask?
Yeah.
That gets whaled by a fucking cop car and explodes?
Yeah.
That's Ben Tramer.
Oh my God.
Barbecued Ben, as they'd call him. The dog shows up, and very similar to what is happening upstairs at this moment, if you can hear it in the recording, Lester, the family dog, shows up and starts barking at something outside. We know it's the Shape. Lester leaves, and Lindsay Wallace in the other room is watching The Thing from Outer Space, later to be remade. Yep. Later to be remade by our Lord and Savior John Carpenter into The Thing, which coincidentally enough, Rob.
Great movie. Great fucking movie. Great movie. Great movie. Best movie ever. Favorite whole fucking movie. I would watch that. And every
what I'm hearing is that I should go watch
itself.
it. Got it.
Yes.
Wait. Hang on. Have you seen The Thing, Dominique?
Not the remake. I have seen the original one.
Oh, okay. All right. Wait. So hang on. There's The Thing from Outer Space. There's John Carpenter's The Thing. Then there's The Thing from 2011 that was way too CG.
We don't talk about that.
Is it the one with Kurt Russell and Keith David?
Yes. Okay. Never mind. That's John Carpenter one.
Cool. All right. We're gonna have
God, I was about to kick you out of here.
I don't watch any remakes. I usually put them by you first. Like, is it worth it? I legitimately text Jason. I'm like, is this one worth it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, awesome.
Whew. There was a brief moment of panic there for a second.
Lot.
Yeah, honestly, because 2011 is a prequel, but people think it's a sequel. And I mean, it's not bad, except for the CG. The CG will just take you straight out of it.
Well, that's because most CG
we go
takes
into
you out
it.
of it.
But there's also some.
Yeah, I really went into it on the Thing episode too. Was the fact that all of the CG elements that are in the movie were done practically, and they edited them out and then replaced them with CGI for fucking what goddamn reason?
Because they
fucking
wanted to
bullshit.
be in the times.
Yeah,
so if you haven't listened to that episode as well,
you hear the same rage. The times are bullshit. CGI is overused. Get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
He's so angry. I love it. Gonna take his neck veins for a walk.
I haven't seen that one. I've only seen the one with Kurt Russell in it.
Good.
And the original, of course.
Good.
Oh my god.
I mean,
but
to be fair,
that's what Lindsay's watching.
To be fair on this,
if you haven't listened to that episode, you need to go listen to it.
Yeah, the prequel is worth the watch for the story alone, because the story is good, but the CGI is so horrendous it fucking kills the movie. Like, there's no redeeming quality. Write a book, put the book out, make a prequel as a book, and call it a fucking day. Let our minds do it. Oh, they would if they hadn't destroyed all of the footage of the practical effects.
Make a video game. Make a board game.
It doesn't exist.
A board game.
I mean, they already did make a video game that's a sequel to the John Carpenter movie. Yep.
See?
But that
could have done that and then just let it be. Yep. We didn't need some CG. So Lindsay is watching The Thing from Outer Space. Again, a little nod to the future. And we go back over to the Doyles, and Tommy's asking, can we make a jack-o'-lantern? And then Lori, they're also watching The Thing from Outer Space. Lori goes, after the movie, can we read some comics? After the jack-o'-lantern. What about the boogeyman? There is no boogeyman. Basically, like, whatever Lonnie Elam told you in school, he's not going to make it past the 6th grade. Just shut up about the boogeyman. He's not real. And then she goes, this is one of my favorite little lines from him of, what does the boogeyman look like? And he goes, well, he looked like the boogeyman. Cool. Thanks, man.
Great description.
Yeah. Earlier on the phone call, Annie spilled some butter on herself while making popcorn. So she then had to go change. She's just got a little dress shirt on, and then she goes out back to the laundry room in the little shed, which this is where it's still terrifying, but part of me is like, does he have some sort of telekinetic powers or something? Because the door closes slowly, so it could be the wind. And then she opens it, and then it slams shut, and there was no real wind, but Michael was standing right next to it also when it opened. Spooky movie? It's a movie, Jason. We then have Annie locked in the little laundry room, and this is the moment, little peek behind the curtain. There's a member of my family named Lindsay, and every time I watch this movie, my brother and I, we send each other this scene because all Annie can shout is to the kid in the house going, Lindsay! Lindsay! So we just send it to each other all the time. And then there's a phone call, and she thinks that it's Paul, her crush, her boyfriend. And
her boo.
Eventually, because Lindsay's like, oh, well, where the hell's Annie? She goes out there. Annie got stuck in the window trying to get out, and then says, please don't tell anybody about this. Promise you won't. The phone call goes off again. She runs in the house, and Lindsay, very first thing goes, she's stuck in the window. She's going to talk to you now. And it's like, cool. Thanks. Fuck you. As we see Michael sneaking around in the background, as well as before she went out to go do laundry, Lester was outside barking at something, and Annie goes, Lindsay, this dog is getting on my nerves again. And he stops barking because the shape has taken out Lester, the dog. So
the poor dog.
Yeah, I think it's just like a slow motion shot of the dog just stretching out, because you can see that it's still moving, which is good. But how else are you going to kill a dog in a movie and make it look real?
I have some background on that.
Oh, hit me.
And apparently, to achieve the shot of Michael Myers strangling the dog, the trainer on set held the dog in his arms and dropped him naturally. This was shot in slow motion to make it look like as if the dog had been killed.
Ha.
So no dogs were harmed. He was just dropped lightly.
Just slowly.
Slow motion.
So you're telling me the trainer was dressed up as Michael Myers?
Probably just his arms.
Hell yeah. Annie gets the call from Paul and basically he's convinced, all right, cool, I'm going to go send Lindsay over to hang out with Tommy Doyle. Basically like, hey, Paul's going to come over. And she goes, okay, great. And she goes, you want to go hang out with Tommy Doyle? She's like, absolutely. So maybe Lindsay has a little crush on Tommy. Who knows?
Oh, absolutely.
It's adorable. But Annie and Lindsay sneak across the street, drops off Lindsay with Lori. And Lori is like, whoa. Hang on. I didn't agree to babysit 2 kids. And Annie's way of getting Lori to do it is by saying, I'll consider talking to Ben Tramer instead of going with you to the dance. She's like, cool, you got it, deal. Woman, you had her by the throat. You could have asked for anything.
Right.
And that's what you went with. Just don't talk to this boy, or go talk to this boy and tell him no. This is where Annie then leaves. Tommy and Lindsay are hanging out with each other. Annie goes back across the street singing a song about Paul. She goes up to the car out back. It's locked. She goes inside, messes with her hair, gets the keys, goes back outside, opens the door right up, sits down and goes, wait a minute, that was locked. And then sees the condensation on the inside of the windshield, wipes a little bit off. Why is it like that? That is such, I love the fact that is a detail.
Right?
It's so nitpicky to the point where I guarantee a lot of other movies haven't done very similar things or that thing. That is such an awesome thought to think of.
You're like, the fuck?
That is an attention to detail right there. That is so fantastic to me that a lot of people probably just gloss over. But the reason of the condensation is Michael pops up from the back and then starts strangling Annie. She's honking on the horn. And then he slits her throat. I knew it. I wrote stabs originally, but I then saw that it was
he just strangled her, but I guess he only strangled, what's her name?
Linda, yeah. But yeah, she it does kind of look like he only strangles her, but then you see a hand go up and just go, whoosh, and then that's when she lays down on the horn, which this is the score in this movie is just so incredible. Like from the actual main theme to all of the smaller little single key taps just to kill some time. The music in this entire movie is incredible. It always makes me feel some form of anxiety or dread. Even though it's an old movie, it's still incredible.
And it's very simplistic in how it does it too. Like there's no like complicated orchestra. It's literally just
I think
very few instruments all at the same time.
Do you remember what the Nintendo like cardboard creative thing was called?
Oh, no, I don't.
But basically John Carpenter got a piano one of those and was able to do the Halloween theme on one of those. And it's
That's
like
awesome.
A thing of cardboard and 5 keys. And that's it.
Yes.
So it's simple at best and also terrifying at even better than best. So Tommy then tries to scare Lindsay and is like, Lindsay, sneaking around behind a curtain. He turns around and looks outside to one of the most, like, this shot sticks in my brain as one of the definitive shots from this movie is just Michael carrying Annie out from behind the house. There's no spooky music. It's just the sounds of what's happening in a house across the street of like watching The Thing from Outer Space. There's popcorn being popped in the kitchen. Lori's cleaning up and a kid's just staring out the window going, what the fuck is that? And he goes, it's the boogeyman, the boogeyman. Lori goes, there's no one outside because Michael then carried Annie into the house across the street. It's just nobody's believing him. He goes, nobody believes me. And then Lindsay, after getting scared, goes, I believe you. And they walk away. And Lori's like, what the fuck? No, it's not real. God, fucking this bitch.
That's because she really likes him.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. This is, I know we've sent this back and forth to each other on Instagram many times as a meme, but this is, we're back at the Myers house. Loomis is hanging out in the bushes. See? And Lonnie Elam and a couple of his friends sneak up and they're like, go ahead, do it. Knock on the door. Because, you know, it was a haunted house or a creepy house back in the day. So what do? You go try and knock on the door, see if anything will come to the door. And Lonnie sneaks up to the stairs and you hear Loomis go, hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. And they take off and the look on Donald Pleasance's face of just, got
right?
Those kids. And he's so proud of himself only to be Brackett popping up right behind him and startling him. Brackett has been up and down. He hasn't seen anything. He's starting not to believe Loomis. And Loomis is like, please just stick around. Just, it's here. All right. And he goes, well, if he's not here, waste of time. But if he is here, damn you for letting him go. It's sad because there's just so much shit that happens after this that in a way is connected to Loomis more in the Halloween, the Rob Zombie Halloweens than this one. Because like Loomis didn't really, I feel like in the beginning of this, seem all that connected to him besides him being his doctor. It seemed like he was a bit more distant versus in Rob Zombies where he basically was like, okay, cool. All these wonderful sessions we've had together. Yeah, I'm done. No, I'm not hanging out with you. And then right after that is when Michael stabbed a nurse with a fork in the neck.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So I think that I don't think it's much more of Loomis's fault in this one as in comparison. But hey, we cut back to the Wallace house and I feel like it's a stereotypical van rolls up, like the big box van with the weird colors and paint jobs on the side, rolls up and it's Bob and Linda and they start talking, Astrovan? No, I think Astrovan was a little bit later.
Well, I know the kids had a name for it. I just can't remember what the name is.
A pedovan?
Well, besides that.
That's the pure white one. But they roll up and it's like, all right, here's our plan. We're going to go in. I'll rip your clothes off. You rip my clothes off. And then we'll rip Lindsay's clothes off. Now, part of me hopes that he just forgot the name of the character Annie. Because Lindsay's a 10-year-old girl, Bob. So whether it's that or in 1978, Bob was the edgy humor guy where it's like, oh, that's funny. Yeah, haha. No, let's just say that he drunkenly mixed up names or the actor actually forgot how to say it. Everybody knows about that part. And nowadays we'll go,
Questionable.
I came in at the wrong time of that
Rob?
conversation.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know if this is any better. I was trying to download Chrome because it says this works better on Chrome, but my piece of shit laptop was just like, how about no? So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to come back and see what happens. And
That's
so
not
far,
good.
so good. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, it seemed like
Yeah.
the reaction
Yeah, a
time
lot
has
better.
gotten a little better.
Mhm.
All right, that was perfect. All right, sick. So they skedaddle into the house, which, you know, it's they open the doors and beer cans just come pouring out. You hear the sound on both sides of the door. It's like, cool. That's either hopefully compiled over time. Actually, you know what? Fuck this. This whole conversation sucks. Drinking and driving sucks. Don't do it, kids.
Not a smart choice.
Anyway, make better choices and don't go into a horror movie and
Well,
get drunk and have sex.
Two
So-
worst things you can do.
So Bob carries Linda in, and they notice that nobody's home. They totally have the place to themselves. Linda actually calls up Lori and goes, yep, Annie went to go meet Paul. I have Lindsay over here. But if you see Annie, just tell her to give me a call because I want to know when to put Lindsay to bed. Linda goes, oh, we'll totally do that. Hangs up and goes, we have the house to ourselves. They start making out. And Michael is sitting there in the corner, being a creep, watching people make out again. And we get the jack-o'-lantern is finally done over at the Doyle house. Annie's gone. Lindsay is gone. Linda and Bob go upstairs to have a sexy time.
Yeah.
what the hell?
Listen, Linda and Bob having sexy time, it's fine. It's really very cheesy and 70s-esque, but
Climax
they reach the ending, if you will.
to the peak.
They arrive.
Mountains.
They got to the mountaintop.
Sorry.
There it is. That's a good one. Linda lights 2 cigarettes, gives one to Bob. Bob goes downstairs. The door slightly opens, and we hear the mask breathing. So we know what's about to happen, but we just don't know from where. So Bob opens up one door, basically thinking it's Annie, thinking it's Linda or Paul. Nobody's in this door, so he turns around, opens up the other door, and out blasts the shape, picks him up by the throat, and
Through the chest.
pins him to the wall.
One of my favorite kills.
Through the chest. A kitchen knife
it
is
is-
not that long. Who gives a fucking
Yeah,
shit,
the
dude?
best kill
That is one of the
first
coolest
movie
kills.
ever. Out of all of them, fucking brutal, insane. Rob Zombie did it again. Made it look great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, he did.
Sure
Same
did.
with Bob. Pinned him to the top of the stairs.
I mean,
That's
if
what
you
she
push it
said.
in far enough, it should be long enough.
You fucker. Part of me thinks I heard or watched or read somewhere. Does anybody know off the top of their heads? I think Nick
Yeah.
Castle said the head tilt was improvised.
Fully improvised. He said, oh, you want me to be motionless? No. If I'm heartless and just a shape moving around, I'm not going to know a lot. So I'm going to be very curious as to what things are. Because he was given the direction of be curious. Like you're trying to figure humans out. Like you don't understand humanity. You don't understand things. And he was like, well, when dogs are curious, they tilt their heads. So what about that? How if I do something like that? And so he just tried it once and they were like, what was that? Do that again. And just stuck.
Very
got
animalistic.
carried through forever and always. And that's,
Right?
I mean, other horror figures have done the same thing. Like people write shit and they're like, tilt your head. Leatherface fucking did it before. I mean, Jason does it. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Jason does it.
It's awesome.
Because after that is one of the most iconic
Yeah.
like costume scenes too. Is when he comes up with because he takes the glasses off of Bob and puts them on after he puts on a sheet, which is always found a little weird, but also it makes sense, especially since
Yeah,
he's
no, it's
wearing a
perfect.
mask,
And he's dressed as a
Yeah,
ghost. It's
the
just,
glasses on,
you don't know who it is, but at the same time, you definitely know who it is.
right? Especially when he just stands
perfect.
there menacingly. Annie just continues a conversation with him with no reaction on his end at all. Just makes it even more like suspenseful and awkward. You're just like,
Exactly.
is he gonna do?
Trying to
anything?
figure out exactly who it is, why he's being such continuing, I may add, to be such a jerk. Yeah, it's great. The are you going to give me one and just holds the beers out, doesn't move forward. I love it. You come
Here.
get it.
Bob,
I
you
did all
dick.
the legwork. You can just get up once. Jeez.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she gets upset and then calls her girl best friend, Lori, at the next house. And then, well, she turns her back,
You don't do
which is the
that.
worst thing to do.
And the
Don't turn
ghost
your
walks
back.
forward and steals
Good
her
movie. I don't
soul.
remember that part.
Yeah, basically.
I don't think so. You watching?
We watching the same Halloween.
Five Below Halloween? The bodega Halloween.
She gets strangled, and we got her famous chewing, and now her famous squealing,
like a piggy,
as Lori put it.
I wonder how many times you have to do that to understand, or to have like an actual like, oh, you're famous squealing. Like,
I mean,
what?
maybe because she pretty much knew what what was going to happen after Linda hung up the phone with her. So she was probably like, oh, great, they're calling. And to just let people listen to you, you sick freak. You sick freak. Is this how you get your kicks? Y'all are nasty. Y'all are fucked
famous. Up. She must be a squealer.
And Bob wasn't the first person to hear it, apparently. Gross. Ooh, Linda's a hoe.
I think that was already known.
Yeah, totally. We see Loomis, and he's just walking down the street, and he finally finds the station wagon, and he goes, oh shit, it's here. He's somewhere around here. Starts checking, and then Lori goes across the street and sees, or is trying to get a hold of Annie or Bob or Linda, because she called back and nobody answered. Lori has to go around back because the front door is locked, and she finds that the back door is open. At this time, it is open. One of the things that she actually said on the phone is, if this is a prank, I'll kill you. And it's like, ooh, poor timing. Because she goes back over and is like shouting, you'll be sorry if you don't come out. Don't cut it out right now. You'll be sorry. It's like, oh, Lori, no. Lori walking through the houses, you can see like anxiety from Jamie Lee Curtis of just, where the fuck is everybody? What's happening now? So if it was all one big practical joke, it would have been a lot better.
Right.
She goes upstairs and finds Annie laying out on the bed, dead, with Judith's tombstone on top of her. The music kicks back in. She's freaking out. Bob comes swinging down from somewhere, which I'm guessing this is where the rope comes into play. But he swings down out of the shadows to provide a scare. And then one of the cupboards opens up, and there's Linda with her cross-eyed face, dead. Lori is in full panic mode. To one of the coolest reveals. You can see him from the get-go, but it's very, very faint. And then his silhouette or mask basically slowly lights up. It's the only thing that lights up in the frame, to just the little trill of music. And he tries to stab Lori, but, gets her on the arm, little slice in the shirt, little scrape on the arm. And she fucking falls so hard down those stairs, over the railing and down those stairs.
Overactor.
Speaking of overacting, I love Nick Castle's little gremlin walk to just like round the banister. He's like, bleh. But he gets up to the top, and we notice that it definitely changes how Michael is from this movie to all the future films, where this one, he's a bit more human. He's like running around. He's moving a bit differently in some parts versus like Dick Warlock in Halloween 2, where he's very robotic and very stiff and rigid. This one, he's kind of got a little bit of play to him. Lori busts out of the house and is screaming for someone to help her. And the fact that people are walking up to their windows and just going, yeah, it's a Halloween prank, and turning off their lights and going away. It's like, what the fuck? Right. And then Lori runs back across the street and starts slamming on the door, throws a potted plant up to the second story, and is like, Tommy, open up, it's me. And he goes, yeah, okay. Just comes down the stairs. And Michael coming across the street is like, oh, fucking open that door, kid. Open that goddamn door right now. This is, again, one of those things where I confuse Zombies Halloween in this one, because I'm expecting him to fucking burst through that door. I'm expecting him to tear the thing apart.
He just Frankenstein monster straight through the fucking giant zombies. Just no doors gonna stop
pretty
me,
much.
Bitch. Hello. He
what's this, oak?
His way
Tough
through
shit.
The door. Oh yeah. He's like, oh, no.
This is where we get one of the infamous sayings of "do as I say," which returns in 18, and I'm pretty sure, I think it might end in kills, but I think it's also in ends. Either way, I'm pretty sure it makes a return in the future in something else besides 18. So the kids have gone upstairs and locked themselves in a room, and there's a window that's open with some breathing, so we know Michael's in the house. And it's just great for sound design and music that it induces fear. And she grabs one of her sewing needles that she had from earlier, and he jumps up and tries to stab her, misses, hits the couch, and she gives him a continued needle hole in the neck. It's really cool, the fact that it stays in the mask for years to come, and that you can actually see it. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember when that happened.
A good clear shot
I
of
was
it in
there.
18 as well.
Yeah, you do. Or the sewing needle stab in the neck, and she peers over with the knife in hand, which I've seen on I think it's Cavity. No, it's not Cavity Colors. It might be Cavity
Terror
Colors or
Threads.
the Terror Threads. That's a shirt where it's just Lori reaching over or looking over the couch with the knife. She grabs the knife and goes upstairs. Or sorry, no, she leaves the knife and goes upstairs. Loomis is walking around outside. He tells Brackett that he found the car. I'll watch the front of the house as you go around the back. Lori then tells Tommy and Lindsay they're safe. I killed the boogeyman. Tommy goes, bullshit, woman, you can't kill the boogeyman. And that's at the very moment. Yeah. Bitch, why you lying?
I love how Tommy's the only like smart one at this point.
Yeah.
He's like, nope.
Yeah, and that's
He's like a 10-year-old kid.
that's the kid.
Tommy and
18.
Loomis would have been
He's the
best
replacement
friends.
for Tommy.
Right?
Oh my God, yeah. And then he goes, you can't kill the boogeyman, as we see in the background, the boogeyman creeping up the stairs right on time for the kids to scream, run and hide. And then Lori goes and hides in a closet with these little shutters, which I love seeing them in real life because it's like, those could probably break out really easy. I know.
Mhm.
I've seen it in a movie.
Don't hide where shutters are. Get
She,
a nice, solid door.
except for if it's Tyler Maine's Michael
Yeah.
Myers, and in
Or
which case
wall.
no door is safe.
True that.
Or ceiling. Or you know what? You're fucked. All
Go-
right. If you
go to
see
a
a
brick
6'7"
building,
Michael
you'll be
Myers,
safe.
you're fucked. All right.
Make sure concrete or space.
Go to space. Michael hasn't been there. Jason's been there. Chucky's on his way there. Just get the fuck out of the planet.
Jason
all right.
into space?
Let it
Yeah.
become Michael's playground.
Hot take.
She hides in the little closet and locks it somehow with like a little strap, I think. And then Michael just starts shaking on the door, and he just goes, you know what, fuck this, punches through the door and is just breaking out all the little things. And Lori grabs a wire hanger,
Lantern.
peels it around, and then stabs him
She's
in the
like,
left
"I'm ready."
eye. And that's also a bit of continuity that thankfully returns, because anybody could have, just glassed over that. I'm so happy that it's just a milky eye going forward
Yeah.
because he got stabbed by a fucking hanger. Then he drops the knife, and then she picks it up, plunges it into his chest. He falls back. She says, kids, get the fuck out. Go find someone to help. Go to the neighbors. Whatever. Just go get some help. So they go out. They start screaming. Loomis is like, oh shit, kids screaming? I bet I know exactly what's on the other end of that. He goes up in the house. Lori is sitting and crying, and we see in the background the silent sit-up of Michael, and he starts kind of waddling his way to her. She gets up and then tries to step out to be then attacked and attempted choke by Michael. She pulls off his mask, and it's not Nick Castle. It's in fact Tony Moran, who was I think he was a stunt director for this movie. It was something along those lines. He is the face, and it kind of looks like he's got some of that corpse putty that Boris Karloff had on his eyelids in Frankenstein, where it kind of just makes it look heavy or a bit cleft. But he puts the mask back on, and here's Dr. Loomis to
6
save the day and
times!
shoot him. How many
I
times?
shot him 6 times.
6 times. The first one bounced him back, and then he's just standing in the next room like, you shot me. What the
How
fuck?
dare you?
And then unloads the rest of the rounds into Michael, falls back off the top floor into the ground, and you can hear Loomis still like clicking, being like, fucking give me more, even though he's already fallen out the window. And
I mean, he does call him evil. The evil is gone. So
it's true. And Lori goes, that was the boogeyman, wasn't it? And Loomis goes, as a matter of fact, it was. And he walks
No.
out.
He don't.
And where's
he don't
Michael?
left.
He got up
He's
and
like-
ski the fuck daddled.
he's like, bitch. All right, I'm out.
Yeah,
Ow!
that hurt.
Fuck! And then we get the theme song and the infamous breathing cutting back to previous scenes. And that is 1978's
Yeah.
John Carpenter's
John
Halloween.
Carpenter.
And
start-
a lot of traumatized audience members.
Yeah, the start of a massive franchise, which also is spawning some of our favorite movies. So yeah, we talked about some of the stuff already where it's like, this was only meant to be a one-off. Michael was meant to be a one-time thing. John was trying to do like an anthology series and just have it be a different
Yep.
Halloween type thing
Yep.
for each one.
Season of the Witch was supposed to be the second movie.
Oh.
He had something with thought vampires for another one. I mean, I don't know how that would have worked so well. They were like, they sucked the essence out of you, not blood, but they controlled your thoughts like vampires do, controlled your body, and then like took your essence. He had, I believe, 6 in total stories that he wanted to tell. He told 2 of them, the first Halloween and Season of the Witch. He has not even... Oh, it's
And
fucking
Season of the Witch is
fantastic.
tremendous.
But, I mean, Carpenter's been sitting on movies this whole time and hasn't done shit with them. He said they fucked my
I believe
fucked my vision. fuck them. But here's the downside. It's not fuck them, it's fuck us. We're not getting this because studios took control.
That's why you didn't want to come back for the second one.
The second one is good for what it is. I mean, it is literally a continuation of the story. It picks up with the body print on the ground, Michael gone, and we keep moving forward.
I believe this was originally supposed to be called The Babysitter Murders. When they talk about it at the beginning of 18, and we'll talk about that in the next episode. I think it's a very, very obvious choice for our Bloody Legend of the Week.
Always.
We have to give it to John Carpenter. It is. I think of John Carpenter, I think of Halloween. It's definitely the movie where it's like people will call back to it. They know that it's Halloween. They know who Michael Myers is. Some of the kids I work with go, "Oh, you have Michael Myers on your leg." It's like, how the hell do you know that?
Says the one who's named after him.
Yeah, but they don't know that part. When I have to explain that part, however, then it's a bit worrisome. John Carpenter made a classic that spawned a generation. I know Texas Chainsaw was there first, but a lot of things do call back to Halloween, I feel like, more than Texas Chainsaw. Like, Jason is a Michael. Jason is a Michael. He's a bit more zombie-esque, but he's a Michael. But out of 10 Bob's pinned to the wall, how many would you rank this movie, Dominique?
For a classic horror movie, 100% 10. There's it just gives us it's one of the original suspense movies where you're just like, what's it gonna do next? And that's what I like about it. And the fact it just gave a whole generation of movie seers, movie makers, a whole new set of standards to go by.
That's exactly what I expected your rating to be anyway. Rob?
It's a fucking 10. It's a classic. And it spawned literally one of the most terrifying killers that has ever graced the silver screen, our home screens, everything. No matter what, I mean, minus blonde wigs and fucking shit like that. The original Rob Zombies, the 2000, chapter that they've put out. I mean, Michael is fucking horror god. There's no argument. Like, gun to head, Leatherface or Michael Myers, I'm always going Leatherface just for the brutality of it. But at the end of the day, I own more Michael shit than I do Leatherface. And for good reason. John Carpenter is God. He has created horror for generations and has continued to do so. So, yeah, it's a 10.
Perfect. I would have to disagree with all of you and tell you that it's a 31 out of 10.
You fucking
31 days of October, Halloween, motherfuckers.
Is he going low? What the fuck?
This son of a bitch. It's a perfect movie. I know there's things where I was just ragging on it. It's 1978. Who the fuck is going to make an accurate movie that doesn't have some sort of plot holes or whatever? And it's like, it's a perfect movie. It's always, you can watch this any time of year, but it feels just right during October. It is what I think of when I watch an autumn or fall movie. I think of how this movie's atmosphere was. Like, you can smell the crisp air. You can hear the leaves rolling down the street. You can just feel what this movie is. And Michael is a tremendous killer. He's a tremendous villain. He's an icon. Again, kids know who this guy is. They know who he is versus who Jason is. And I know it's silly because my name is Jason Michael, but I do believe that I'm more of a fan of Michael than I am of Jason. And I know that's a bold statement. Michael, I feel like, has a bit more depth to him than Jason, when Jason is just a hulking zombie pretty much. And Michael is like, is he a man? Is he a monster? Is there magic? Curse of Thorn? Either way, we've already talked about that as well in our breakdown of Halloween 4 for the 35th anniversary. So if you haven't listened to that episode, do that too. Man, callbacks. But that is going to bring us to the end of this portion of the episode. Now, we've been thinking about this, Rob.
Yeah.
Seeing as we started Halloween from 1978, and it wasn't exactly Halloween, was it?
No, I mean, the movie was Halloween, took place on Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Last time I checked, Halloween's 4 days away.
Yeah. So why don't we come back and talk about Halloween 2018 on Halloween?
Ooh, the best treat you could ever get on Halloween.
Or is it a trick?
Second episode of Spoiler Sleepover in 1 week?
It could be a treat. It could be a trick. There's only one way to find out, and listen to it when it comes out.
Who's
at that point? Yeah, at that point, it could be a treat. Unless it's just like an hour and a half of us just going,
Could you imagine? It's just
No.
acapella theme songs. That was my electric guitar with a bow, by the way. Fucking
Sounds like
so
THX.
much. It's so good. Oh, I love the THX. You got to crank it every time. That vibration made my nose ring itch.
But as of right now, Dominique and Rob, thank you very much for this portion of our episode. I can't wait to talk about Halloween 2018, the 40 years later sequel.
40 years! It's been 40 years!
40 years.
He's dead. Sorry. Too soon?
Until the next episode.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere,
Stay secret,
suckers. I don't know. Rob?
The best organs from
Or
different
whatever you're
sources.
doing.
Yeah!
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder.
Spoiler Sleepover is sponsored by Gore Clown Shop.
Do you love all things horror? Books? Movies? Podcasts? Of course you do. Well, come on down to goreclown.com.
Original artwork by an indie horror fan for indie horror fans.
Use code SLEEPOVER at checkout to save 15% on your whole purchase.
Oh, and did we mention? Gore Clown is the only place to get official Spoiler Sleepover merch.
So don't forget to use Sleepover to save 15%.
Stay indie, suckers.